It's time for Alamogordo Town News on Crazy Radio. I'm Anthony Lucero. When it comes to news on 95.1 FM, weather always comes first. Moderate to heavy lake effect snow will develop over the eastern upper peninsula of Michigan and downwind from Lakes Erie and Ontario. Snow will develop over parts of the northern Rockies and northern High Plains as well. Closer to home, more chances for additional lowland rain showers and mountain snow showers for today as the storm system lingers over the region. Again, precipitation amounts should be light with minimal impacts. Tomorrow, possibly a few more light mountain snow showers. Thursday through the weekend, expect fair weather and warming conditions. We'll have another look at the weather following this news. Former Otero County Commissioner Coy Griffin remains the only elected official thus far to be banned from office in connection with the January 6 Capitol incident. Griffin himself neither brandished a weapon nor entered the Capitol building. Regardless of these facts, the Supreme Court stated that the previous decision of the lower court will stand. I spoke with Griffin yesterday.
It's a huge disappointment. Ever since they removed me from office, I've never felt like it would stand. I always felt like I would finally find justice. I started here in New Mexico through the appeals process, and that took me all the way to the United States Supreme Court. I really felt like I would find justice with them, especially after the Anderson-Trump case, the Colorado issue the other day, because if you remember back when the United States Supreme Court responded to that, they pointed to a jurisdictional issue that they had where they said that, that insurrection can only be legislated by a 2/3 majority vote out of Congress. That's what the law clearly says. And they reference that in that opinion, but then yet in my deal, they're going to just allow insurrection to be decided upon by a district court judge in a civil bench trial. It just doesn't make sense.
The justices wrote in an unsigned opinion, quote, "We conclude that states may disqualify persons holding or attempting to hold state office," close quote. The outcome of Griffin's case could bolster efforts to attack other state and local elected officials over any involvement in the January 6th incident. At the time of our speaking, Griffin had not yet spoken with his attorney, so he was uncertain as to what the next move would be. The Smoky Bear Ranger District on the Lincoln National Forest will have a scheduled prescribed burn tomorrow and Thursday. Crews are going to be focusing on around 50 acres of the Mesa Barn Pile Unit. Officials say the burn will allow crews to clear fuel buildup in that area, which helps prevent forest fires. Smoke from the burn may be visible from Ruidoso, Capitan, and Carrizozo. The burn can be postponed or rescheduled depending on conditions in the burn area. The village of Ruidoso announces that this week Windstream will be doing underground work on Geneva Drive, Innsbrook Drive, Grenoble Drive, Cole Drive, Granite Drive, White Mountain Meadows Drive, and St. Moritz Drive. If you're in those areas, please approach slowly and watch for crews at work. The City of Alamogordo presents Easter in the Park. This free event is happening on Saturday, March 30th from 10 until 1 at Washington Park.
This is Lieutenant William Skaggs with Alamogordo Fire Department. With grass fire season fast approaching, we would like to remind the citizens of Alamogordo that open burning is only permitted with the proper authorization from Alamogordo Fire Department. If you would like to conduct any kind of open burning within your property in the City of Alamogordo, you must first receive proper authorization through a burn permit with the Alamogordo Fire Department. You can apply for a burn permit at 619 Texas Avenue, Monday through Friday, 8 to 5.
Well, today is Tuesday. It's time for an introspection with Pastor Johnny Walker.
Hey, this is Johnny Walker with this week's introspection. Just a thought for the moment. Little sunshine to put in your pocket. The house is on fire. We can sometimes get so focused on disagreements with our neighbor, family, directing our efforts to persuade those we feel are misinformed, that we miss the opportunity to fix the problem. Instead of putting out the spark earlier, we now sit outside with the fire department, pointing fingers at each other, accusing each other for being the arsonists. We need to stop and realize that if we remain focused on finding fault, we'll risk sacrificing the house and everything that we value that remains inside. Not only do we lose past accomplishments, we risk future successes. Let's put aside our issues with one another. Let's work on a solution and let God work out the differences. Y'all be blessed, and I hope to see you again on next Tuesday here on Crazy Radio. y'all be blessed.
News from around the state in just a moment. This is Alamogordo Town News on Crazy Radio. I'm Anthony Lucero.
Local news from local perspectives from local voices. AlamogordoTownNews.com. Local sports, local events, and local happenings, and more. Owned and operated by Second Life Media. We are Otero County. AlamogordoTownNews.com. Heard daily on Crazy KALH Radio 95.1.
Directory Plus is the right size book. It's the book if you need a phone book.
That's what just one person has to say about Directory Plus. With its red cover, features, colorful yellow pages, and lots more, it's no wonder people all over use Directory Plus.
It has so much more information. You can cross-check phone numbers or addresses or pretty much anything.
Look on the plus side, Directory Plus.
I'm a big fan of Directory Plus.
Afghan refugee Mohammed Syed has been found guilty of first-degree murder in one of 3 fatal shootings that took place in Albuquerque's Muslim community during the summer of 2022. Jurors returned that verdict yesterday. Syed faces life in prison in the killing of 41-year-old Aftab Hussein on July 26th of 2022. He'll also be standing trial in the coming months with the other 2 slayings. During the trial, prosecutors said Syed was deliberate in his actions. They presented cell phone data that showed his phone was in the area when the shooting occurred and that casings and projectiles recovered from the scene had been fired from a rifle found at his home. Defense attorneys argued that prosecutors had no evidence that Syed was the one who pulled the trigger. They said other people who lived in Syed's home also had access to his phone, the vehicle, and rifle. Syed declined to testify in his own defense. Another officer has resigned, which brings the total to 4 police officers and 1 sergeant gone from the Albuquerque Police Department amid an administrative investigation into wrongdoings by driving while intoxicated officers. The latest rat to desert the sinking ship is Officer Nelson Ortiz, who submitted his resignation on Thursday while investigators were trying to schedule an interview with him. Ortiz worked with the APD Motors Unit since 2021. While the details of this investigation have not been made public, we do know that these 4 officers were scheduled to appear before the same attorney in court 70 times. Those cases have something disturbing in common. A majority of them were dismissed. Why? 29 times, these officers failed to appear due to a flat tire, traffic, and other such excuses. Other cases were dismissed due to the needed evidence never submitted. DWI Resource Center Executive Director Linda Atkinson spoke with KOAT and said that these numbers raise red flags.
When you see like I said, the connection and the high numbers, there better be a lot of flags and bells going off.
Atkinson said that over 50% of DWI cases get dismissed due to one reason or another, but that all of these officers not appearing for the same attorney is very suspicious.
I have my doubts it was happenstance. It seems like it was intentional.
The FBI is investigating the police department for DWI cases. The federal investigation involves officers who did not appear in scheduled court for DWI cases, which were ultimately dismissed by Bernalillo County District Attorney Sam Bregman amid the federal investigation. Movie set armorer Hannah Gutierrez-Reed is challenging her conviction on an involuntary manslaughter charge in the fatal shooting of cinematographer Helena Hutchins by Alec Baldwin on the set of the movie Rust. Defense attorneys for Gutierrez-Reed filed a request for a new trial and urged the judge to release the defendant from jail as deliberations proceed.
They want to lay the complete blame on her in this case, as opposed to OSHA, who investigated as an official agency and made an official determination that this was production and management that was responsible. That's important. That's an important finding because they said all of this was caused safety-wise by management.
In an emergency court motion, defense attorneys Jason Bowles and Monica Barreras asserted that the jury instructions in the case could confuse the jury and lead to a non-unanimous verdict. Gutierrez-Reed could be sentenced as soon as April 15th under the current scheduling orders from Santa Fe-based Judge Mary Marlowe Summer. Involuntary manslaughter carries a felony sentence of up to 18 months in prison and a $5,000 fine. Gutierrez-Reed is being held pending sentencing at the Santa Fe County Adult Detention Facility, while the shooter, Alec Baldwin, remained a free man. U.S. Senator Martin Heinrich sent a letter to Customs and Border Patrol on March 14th, urging them to finalize a study for the expansion and modernization of the Santa Teresa Port of Entry. In that letter, Heinrich says the Santa Teresa Land Port of Entry's position as a key point in international trade between the U.S. and Mexico means the infrastructure is vital to maintaining that trade. Heinrich also mentioned in that letter that U.S. ports of entry act as the front line in the country's efforts to intercept fentanyl. Oddly, there seems to be a lack of mentioning illegals. Sports and weather are next. You're listening to Alamogordo Town News on Crazy Radio. I'm Anthony Lucero.
They are role models and educators. Their work requires a great deal of time and energy for very little pay. Who are these unsung heroes?
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
The simple truth about education-based athletics in New Mexico is this. Without a committed team of coaches and administrators, they just wouldn't be possible. School sports, they bring out the best in all of us. This message presented by the New Mexico Activities Association and the New Mexico Athletic Directors Association.
There are 30 games for Mexico softball today, including Hot Springs at Chaparral and Ruidoso heads to Goddard. 32 games for Mexico baseball today, including Cobri at Chaparral. Alamogordo heads to Roswell. Your Crazy Radio spot on weather forecast for the Tularosa Basin today calls for partly sunny skies with a 20% chance of showers. Tonight, mostly clear, sunny skies tomorrow. Your high today in the basin, 64, low tonight of 42, high tomorrow, 66 degrees. In Cloudcroft, mostly sunny skies with a 20% chance for snow, winds gusting as high as 20 miles per hour. Tonight, mostly clear, winds gusting as high as 18. Tomorrow, sunny with winds gusting as high as 29. Your high today in Cloudcroft, 44, low tonight of 28, high tomorrow, 42 degrees. Local breaking news can be found on our website, alamogordotownnews.com, and learn more about Crazy Radio by visiting kalhradio.org. Also, check out the Crazy KALH Radio YouTube channel. That's where we post our daily newscasts, complete interviews, and other information which concerns everyone in the Tularosa Basin. Be sure to give this video a like and subscribe to our channel if you've not done so already. That way you too can remain informed of the goings-on in the Tularosa Basin. Well, that concludes today's edition of Alamogordo Town News on Crazy Radio. I'm Anthony Lucero.